Before we start this episode of the I'm Fine podcast, we want to make sure to thank our sponsor for this episode, tattoo artist Sarah Jane. So if you're looking to get tattooed, have no fear. We know a girl. She does a bit of everything, but specializes in neo-traditional, neo-realism, new school, and also anything horror. You can check her out and check her work on Facebook and Instagram at sarahjane.zow.tattoos, or stop into Art and Soul. That's Art and SOL Soul, located at 217 Southwest Avenue, Kankakee, Illinois 60901, or check out their website, www.artsoulstudio.com. That's www.artsoulstudio.com. And we are also clients of Sarah Jane, which is why it's so cool to have her as a sponsor. She's done several tattoos for myself. She's done several tattoos for you. Has she done all of your tattoos?
No. She's done the last 4, though.
That's right. She didn't do your supermoto one on your rib cage. The Semper Fidelis one. What? What are you worried about?
I don't have that.
It's fine. Other than that one, has she done? She's done a lot of your recent work.
She did my sleeve.
Yeah.
She did the one for my kids, and she did the Kool-Aid Man bong on the leg.
She's very good at what she does.
I agree.
If you are new into tattoos, or if you're seasoned, whatever the case may be, go check out her work. Like, Art and Soul Studio is an amazing place. They did a fantastic job with the decorating, and all of the artists there are incredibly professional and very good at what they do.
Yep.
And Sarah is incredible. So I could not recommend Sarah enough. So
the vibe as well there. It's a very comfortable place to go into and very welcoming.
Yeah. So again, www.artsoulstudio, that's ARTSOLSTUDIO.com, and ask for Sarah Jane. Welcome to another episode of the I'm Fine podcast, where a couple of knuckle-dragging veterans unpack the world of mental health as unprofessionally and informally as possible. I am Eric Peterson.
And I'm Brad Stozick.
And today's episode is all about having a little mandatory fun. We are going to take a little mental health break with a light-hearted episode where we're going to translate some military slang for our civilian counterparts, share some of the funniest stories that we in the Project Headspace and Timing family have about their time in service, and talk about how being in the military can truly wage war on your common sense. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey as we do our best to take you from being freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional to truly being fine about having a little mandatory fun.
Welcome to the I'm Fine podcast with your freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional hosts, Eric Peterson and Brad Stozick.
It's good to be back, Brad.
It is great to be back. I love it here.
How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm better.
Yeah?
I was I got sucked into the social media news anger of the world for a little bit there, but
yeah,
I'm out.
It's easy to do, man.
Yeah.
And I catch myself in it all the time, and they call it doom scrolling, where you're just mindlessly going through social media, and it very rarely makes me feel better. Like, my algorithms are pretty good, because when I watch Facebook Reels, my algorithms show me outdoor stuff, cooking stuff, super positive stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of dad stuff. And for whatever reason, I've gotten into this place recently where a lot of what I'm watching is stuff about Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, or inside the NBA, Shaq, Kenny, Charles Barkley, and what's the other dude's name? I can't remember. But listening to them just rip on each other and talking about other players, that's where my algorithm kind of works to my benefit, because I try to stay away from a lot of that negative stuff. But we have local elections that just finished up, a lot of other things happening right now, and it's just a super tense time for a lot of people. I've noticed a lot, dude, the amount of veteran crisis calls we've had has been way higher than just a few months ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we both know a lot of veterans right now that are struggling, that have been relapsing, maybe, had to check themselves into another facility looking for more resources, looking for more help. It's a tough time. And I think social media is part of that. Everything that's happening right now is a part of it. There's a lot of things happening on a federal level that just have people scared.
Yeah.
Or anxious.
Yep.
Right, wrong, or indifferent. Regardless of how you feel about it, you can't deny how it's making a lot of people feel. And that's affecting communities, affecting society, affecting families. And it's a scary time. So that's why we wanted to take an episode to talk about dumb shit.
Yes.
We just didn't want to think about any of that stuff anymore. I'm done with it, man, especially after our local elections. I hate the anger that it brings out of people.
It's everywhere.
Because it's dude, again, that's not the community that I chose to serve. The community that I'm proud to serve is the one that takes care of each other. Is, again, the community of September 12th, 2001.
Yep.
The community that comes together after the tornadoes and hurricanes and storms and when a family loses their house and they all gather up items together to support that family. That's my America.
Yeah.
Those are my people. But when elections happen, all of a sudden, everybody hates everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm we were cool a little bit ago.
Last month.
We were just fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now, it makes me miss the early days of COVID. When everybody just wanted to watch Tiger King and that was it. And it was cool, man. We didn't have any responsibility. We didn't have to leave unless you had if you were called what was it? Not a mandatory.
An essential
employee.
Yep.
But there was a little while where most people were just kind of sitting in their houses watching Tiger King and everything was fine.
Yep.
But again, elections bring out the worst in some people. I feel hopefully we're coming out of that for the most part. And so we just wanted to find some joy in some of the other aspects of what makes a veteran and hopefully teach our civilian friends some new fun words. So before we start that, Bradley.
Yes, sir.
Can you please let me know what the sources are for this episode?
Taskandpurpose.com, tcom.marines.mil, military.com, and veterantv.com.
Bam! Got them. Nice.
Thank you, sir.
So before we get into a lot of the other stuff, when it comes to some of the acronyms and everything, there's just a lot of military slang.
Yeah.
Right? And I didn't realize it until I did this episode when I started looking stuff up about military slang, and I realized how much there is because Jake, our producer, who we love, has told us many times that he could talk to other veterans and understand their vernacular because of listening to us and editing our episodes. And I didn't really think about it. I'm we have a lot of terminology that is very specific to the veteran world.
Yeah.
And a big thing about bridging the gap into the civilian communities is helping our civilian friends understand what a lot of that means. And a lot of it is stupid. Most of it's dumb.
Yeah.
Most of it, right?
I'm pretty sure all of it's dumb.
All of it might be dumb.
All of it's pretty dumb.
And we're going to get to all of it.
Yes.
But before we get to the rest, we have to start with the most important things. And the most important slang terminology would be branch battle cries. So we're going to start with the Army because they're the best. Okay? So the Army's battle cry, which I'm not a fan of.
You don't want to call your battle buddies and hooah.
I want to go say hooah with my battle buddies. So the Army battle cry is hooah, H-O-O-A-H. Before I talk about all my problems with it, let's get into the origins, because there are origins. There are backstories to all of these words, which is really cool because I didn't know a lot of the backstories for these. So for hooah, there are three stories that I have as far as origin stories that I found. So according to E. Kelly Taylor's 2009 history, America's Army in the Language of Grunts, Understanding the Army Lingo Legacy, which sounds like a fucking great book, by the way. One theory suggests that hooah originated with the Seminoles in Florida in the early 1800s, where tribal chief Osceola was unable to say the words of a formal toast during a meeting with Army commanders and instead dropped a solid hooah. Story 2 is Vang, I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but V-A-N-G in Vietnamese translates to yes, but it's pronounced ooah. So service members and veterans on Snopes message boards often cite this as the origin of the battle cry, derived from years of fighting in the Vietnam War. Supposedly, because the Vietnamese soldiers answered ooah in places of yes, American troops began to pick it up as shorthand for affirmative. That's something I could definitely see. You know what I mean? And then story 3, the Army loves, well, the whole military loves acronyms. And as far as hooah goes, there are a few rumored explanations. The first reportedly comes from the 82nd Airborne Division during World War II, whose soldiers would reply to orders from their commanding officers with HUA, hooah, an acronym for heard, understood, acknowledged. Now, I was told that it stood for hurry up and wait, which makes way more sense to me than anything else. But the answer is nobody really fucking knows. Nobody really knows where hooah came from, but I don't like it because there's too many vowels together. It's like O-O-H. Like you need a hard consonant in there somewhere. And hooah sounds like you're vomiting. If you say it slower and let it be a gut, like, like that's what it sounds like. There's so many other things I would rather. It almost sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes. That's what it sounds like to me. And I would way rather answer affirmative with than hooah. Like Specialist Peterson, get to the motor pool. Way rather do that.
Did you guys have to did you guys do that on the regular, like hooah at each other? Like
not as aggressive and in your face as Marines are, but like, yeah, like if I didn't say it a lot, but like whenever, you know, like a sergeant major would get everybody around and start talking, he would say hooah and everybody would be like, hooah, you have to say it. You're like, fucking this is stupid, this sounds dumb. But like, yeah, but Marines.
Hey, calm down now.
That's one thing I respect and appreciate about Marines, because I work at the Veterans Assistance Commission, bro. So like I'll see two Marines walking by each other in the hallway, and like one's like in his 20s and the other's in his 70s, and one will be like Semper Fi Devil and the other's like oorah, and then they just walk the other way. I'm like, man, you guys didn't miss a step. Like they got those locked, cocked, and ready to rock at all times, and I love that. Army's just I just not a fan. So the Marines have oorah, O-O-R-A-H. I do like the backstory of this. It's pretty fitting to me. So the U.S. Marine Corps battle cry oorah likely originated from Marines training with submarines in the 1950s, imitating the sound of the submarine's klaxon horn, ooga. Which evolved into oorah. John R. Massaro, who later became the 8th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, is credited with popularizing the phrase, using it during his time with the 1st Marine Division Recon Company and later spreading it to drill instructor school. So yeah, so Marines just heard like a and they're like oorah.
We can say that, and now it's shortened. Now it's like rah 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 rah.
It's like just the gruntest grunt shit. Like you're just grunting at each other.
We really are, yeah.
Rah. Like
it
yeah,
really
man.
is.
And like I could see you having pretty much a full conversation and just like guttural noises.
That's like a greeting. Like you say that, and then you're like Russ aren't.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, hey, it works. That's what it works. And then the Navy also has one. The Navy's battle cry is hooyah, H-O-O-Y-A-H. Hooyah is used mostly to boost morale or as verbal acknowledgement, while it's mostly used and recognized as a Navy SEAL term. Other members of the Navy use it as well. The origins are unclear, but are likely similar to those of hooah and oorah. And the word typically has the same meaning. So the Navy pretty much just copied Army and Marines, which is fine. Because at least they have one. Because the Air Force fucking none has one.
Yes,
it doesn't have one at all. What?
Get the pencil sharpener.
Why is my air conditioner broken? Like that's theirs. That's their battle cry.
It's hot in here.
I mean, I didn't find one for the Air Force, so I found one for the other three. It's okay.
Yeah, we talk a lot of shit about the Air Force, but
Yeah, because we're all jealous.
They're so smart.
We're all jealous. That's why. That's another thing. If you don't know why every other branch talks shit about the Air Force, it's because
I'm so jealous.
We're so jealous. They get to sleep in like hotels and shit. They get good super nice food. Like every air base. I hadn't been on many, but Manis Air Base was like a popular air base if you were coming in and out of Afghanistan, and I'm not sure, maybe Iraq too, but that was a Manis Air Base, so Air Force Base in Kyrgyzstan, and that was the first time I learned what a panini press was. I had no idea what a panini press was. I was like 21. Yeah, I was 21 years old. And like, I just thought it was like, this is a hot sandwich maker. And they're like, yeah, it's a panini press. I'm like, that's a panini press? I learned about that on an air base. And their chow hall was awesome. Like, food was super good. Like, yeah, man, that's why we talk shit about the Air Force.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They have it nice.
They have it great. So those are some of the battle cries that I think you need to understand to pave the way for the rest of the stuff we're going to talk about. But before we get into the list, I wanted to ask you, Bradley, a couple of questions. I want to test your knowledge on troop talk and grunt speak. Are you ready?
I am ready.
I don't know if we have any music that we can play. I don't think we do. Like some
Get the applause button ready.
Do. I don't remember which one the applause button is here. Hold on. Is it this one? Nope. Hey, that's the one. Okay. So question 1, Brad. What do you call someone who betrays their friends for their own personal gain?
That, sir, is called a Blue Falcon.
Ding, ding, ding. I'll give you that one.
Thank you. Wait.
Very good.
And you've heard the call, right?
The Blue Falcon call?
Yeah.
No.
You got to flap your wings.
Yep.
And you say, fuck all y'all.
I do like that. That's a good one. I don't know if I've heard that one, but I do.
Our
like
drill instructors used to make us do that when we were bleeding Blue Falcons. And be like, all right, do it. And then fuck all y'all.
Really? Well, yeah. So Blue Falcon is what you call someone who betrays their friends for their own personal gain. I would have also accepted buddy fucker.
Yep.
You know, BF, either one are acceptable, but very good, Brad.
Thank you.
Question 2. What would you call a group of confused service members? What do you call a group of confused service members?
Second lieutenant.
Ooh. I'll take it. I'll accept it. I'll definitely accept that one. I was also looking for gaggle fuck. I would have accepted cluster fuck.
Okay.
Any of those types of fucks. But gaggle or cluster fuck, either one of those. Also a group of second lieutenants. That's a good answer.
Yeah. Okay.
What were you going to say?
I was overthinking it, but yeah, gaggle fuck. I have heard of a gaggle fuck.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. Hey. You're 50-50 right now.
Hey, I'll take it.
You're 50-50. We're going into question 3. Here's what we got. If someone presents themselves in a sloppy manner, they are a what? If someone presents themselves
in a sloppy
manner, they are a what?
I mean,
you want some hints?
There's so many. I'm thinking like a boot, a fucktard. Like, there's just so many.
Those are acceptable answers. What is an answer that is also of 2 separate food items that you wouldn't normally put together?
Well, I don't know.
In this way.
I don't know.
The answer I was looking for, Brad. Soup sandwich.
Oh,
one of my favorite ones. That's one of my favorite ones. Looking like a soup sandwich. Because it's like in the military, you don't always have to use harsh language for it to be funny and also demean you as a person. Like soup sandwich was a great one.
Also, besides, we also were called, I've heard a lot of people called mouth breathers.
Mouth breathers is a great one. Just, and we had one. We had one when I was in boot camp. I don't think he listens to this podcast. His name was Roarbaugh. And Roarbaugh had the gigantic, thick-ass glasses. The BCGs.
Yep.
And his hat was always cocked a little bit to the side, and it wasn't intentional. And he would just be... Like he couldn't shut his mouth to save his life, bro. Like mouth breather is a great one, but
man.
I love soup sandwich
Soup sandwich. It's
because
funny.
I loved that stereotypical salty ass like E6 telling you like, man, you look like goddamn soup sandwich. You know what I mean? Like that was just such a funny thing to hear. Okay,
I'm dropping the ball. I'm not doing too
you got
hot.
one more question.
All right.
And I'm not going to accept any of the answers that you've already said for this because you have a couple that you said for this, but there's a lot.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Question 4. What do you call someone who is an idiot? What do you call someone in the military that's an idiot? Brad, it's on you, buddy.
I mean, dude, so many names. I don't like this. You're putting pressure on me.
All the pressure. The world is
like a turd, a shitbag,
shitbag, turd. You already said mouth breather.
Mouth breather. I don't know. I feel
another one for mouth breather that I like. I think it's like an escalated, smarter version of mouth breather. Oxygen thief.
Oxygen thief.
Oxygen thief. ASVAB waiver. ASVAB waiver's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because to get into the infantry, I don't know what you need to score on your ASVAB. Like the highest you can score on your ASVAB is 100, I assume. Is that perfect?
I believe so.
Okay. So like I assume that's the perfection would be 100. But if you score, and I have no sources for this, but it's like if you score over 90, you could probably be an engineer, whatever. If you're over 95, intel, like you could do whatever you wanted in the military. I'm pretty sure to be in the infantry, you got to be able to write your name
the right way.
If you get like 50-50, if the first name's spelled right, the last name's fucked up, like it's still fine. If you can do that and get 1 dot on that fucking paper, 1 question to answer, it's like, you know what? You'd be great for the infantry, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and so an ASVAB waiver means you're dumber than that, bro. That's why that's such a great one. ASVAB waiver is good.
I'm pretty sure they did they had like a chimpanzee take the ASVAB, and I'm pretty sure it scored a 13.
Dude.
And there's people who get like you just said their waiver.
There were some guys there. I was in boot camp at Fort Benning, Georgia, home of the infantry, and there were some dudes where I was like, that's an ASVAB waiver, bro. You need to take his weapons. Why is he holding a rifle? I would have also accepted bag of dicks. Bag of broke dicks, which is a bag of dicks that is suffering from a physical injury of some kind. Either one of those. There's so many great ones if you're an idiot in the military. If you're an idiot in the military, you're going to hear it a lot in a lot of different colorful ways. What are some of your favorite military slang sayings?
Oh, man, there's so many. I don't even.
I'll tell you some of mine. Gear adrift is a gift.
Oh, yeah.
So gear adrift is a gift. Did Marines have another saying for that?
You tactically acquire it.
Tactically acquiring things. So tactically acquire or gear adrift is a gift.
I'm sorry, tactfully acquire.
Is it tactfully?
Yeah, you tactfully acquire it.
Would it be tactically?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. There you go. I was a Marine. I wasn't very bright.
Rah. Too many syllables. Sun hot. Ground hard. Me tired. Hungry. Rah.
I just want to kill.
Gear adrift is a gift, or tactically acquire.
There you go.
Means stealing. That's what that means. It means stealing shit.
Yep.
Stealing shit from other service members. Yep. But sometimes you got to do that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you can't check out until you have all your gear. So guess what? Sucks for that guy. You're on island for 2 more years. I'm not. I'm trying to check out. Give me your canteen lid.
Well, and when you are coming in and out of country and like you have whole units that are like leaving the country, they're leaving all sorts of stuff everywhere. Like you have people that make mistakes and leave things places. And I've also been on bases that got shut down. And so when bases would get shut down, oh my God, like the amount of gear that's everywhere. Like I have so much medical gear, and it's not like, okay, did I technically steal it? All right. Yeah, whatever. But the thing was,
maybe
they were closing the base. They were like, all right, go in there and just get everything out, take whatever you want. Everything else we're either throwing out or giving to the locals or whatever. So you're like, okay, cool. Tourniquets. I could use those on my next deployment. Start grabbing those. You grab whatever's there. So, I mean, you have to be able to do that in the military. You have to understand that sometimes there are times where you got to figure it out somehow and Gear adrift is truly a gift. I had 2 stories from 2 of our Fat family members, Kyle and Robin. Kyle sent us a message saying that he stole all of the battalion guidons and received an Article 15 and 2 weeks extra duty for it, but that was worth it. To steal all the battalion guidons, that's a ballsy move. You know what I'm saying? And I like that. Like that's intentional. Like you didn't steal that to help yourself.
No.
Not like you stole like a case of water or whatever. Like no,
Case
dude.
of water.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
I don't know. I was just thinking. I don't know.
A case of water.
Well, like when I was in Afghanistan, my platoon sergeant knew that I knew where the chow hall kept all their stuff. And so the way that our base was on my first tour is a FOB. So it wasn't a really big base, so forward operating base. And I was at FOB Meterlam, which was in the Lagman province in RC east of Afghanistan. And so our base wasn't big. And so we would go on missions all day, right? All day, every day. We were security force. We're just always out there. And sometimes we get back for lunch, sometimes for dinner, sometimes not. And so whenever we'd get back, if it was late, we missed chow, we would try to go to the DFAC, the chow hall, which is just the DFAC is dining facility, synonym for chow hall. We would go to the chow hall and all the, we didn't have mid-rats. And mid-rats, if you're unfamiliar, is just when they come back out at midnight and have another spread of food for you. We didn't have anything like that, so we had to get whatever was left over. So like beef jerky or gum, Gatorade, like whatever they had left. And sometimes they had and water and everything else. And so we would go over there and try to get stuff, but a lot of the times we would do that, it was all already taken by all the other service members that were on the base, right? Mm. So they were there all day, and so they're coming in, getting chow, taking stuff, and then leaving. So when this happened for a while, I was like, nah, man, I can't stand for this shit. And I worked out a deal with one of the guys who worked in the chow hall, and we knew where the Connex was that had everything locked up. And so we'd come out there at night, do the deal. Connex would open, we'd get in there, we'd grab some Gatorade, some beef jerky, what else? Some Rippets, energy drinks, and whatever other snack foods that they had, because we didn't have any, and we wouldn't clean the place out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would take enough for my guys. That's it. Yeah. You know what I mean? I wasn't getting greedy with it, but it's every time we got back, there was no shit there. So when I talk about case of water, that's where my head was going. It's all right, we would just go in there and get whatever. You know what I mean? And if I knew that we had a mission that was going to last several days, my platoon sergeant would come to my room and he would be like, my platoon sergeant at the time was a former police officer. Well, he was a police officer at the time, super squared away, by the book dude. And he would come to my room and he would be like, hey, P.H.A.T, if you happen to come across a case of Coca-Cola, some beef jerky for tomorrow's mission, and it ends up on the floor of the MRAP tomorrow morning, I would be okay with this. And I was like, roger that. You know what I mean?
Say less.
E4 Mafia.
Yep.
Disperse.
I also feel like we talked about stealing things, but I also feel like you work out a lot of deals.
Oh, yeah.
With people.
Hell yeah, man. Bartering, trading, with the people at laundry, with the people in the chow hall. Those are your friends.
The supply.
Supply.
You better be friends with supply.
Supply, for sure.
And the armory.
Yeah.
As far as cleaning your weapon and shit
hell
goes.
Yeah. Yeah, supply was always huge. I may or may not have an NBC mask. Gear adrift's a gift. I wanted to turn it into a bong. I don't have the time. I haven't figured it out yet, but one day it's on my list. And another Fat family member who had a story about stealing stuff was Robin. Robin said he was part of a team that managed to steal all of the weapons of another company because the guards were sleeping, and then they duct taped the guards to a tree. That was another great thing to do. Which is crazy because you're going to war with these guys, and when you're in the field doing training drills, you can't help but fuck with them. And so if you catch somebody sleeping, especially if you're doing some field ops, FTX, field training exercise, whatever you want to call it, if you're doing something like that and you have an outer cordon security, you have a bunch of guys pulling security. Usually you do it like, I don't know how everybody else does it, but like battle buddy teams or whatever. You have 2 people, one sleeping, the other's awake, right?
Yep.
And you're pulling security. I mean, it depends on, if it's 50% or 100% security, whatever. But let's say it's 50%, one up, one down. If that one up falls asleep and they get caught, like in boot camp, they would take the marker and they would take the marker across their neck.
Oh, like they died.
Yeah, they slit their throat and be like, you're fucking dead, and he's fucking dead. You know what I mean? So it's like sleeping's a big deal. So if you get caught sleeping, you're going to get fucked with if you're not supposed to be sleeping.
Yep.
So that was a good one too. Another slang saying I like, the good idea fairy. Did you guys ever have that much? Did you hear that?
No.
The good idea fairy? You never heard that?
No.
The good idea fairy is when a commanding officer or like enlisted has a terrible idea, and they call it, that's the good idea fairy.
Okay.
Embrace the suck.
Embrace the suck.
That's a good one. Just means embrace the suck. I mean, that's pretty cut and
I
dry.
still use that to this day.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, we got to embrace the suck, guys. Let's do this.
That is way better. That's a way more PG version of suck today's dick, because I'd also hear that overseas too. We're gonna suck today's dick today. So embrace the suck. Have someone 6. That's when you hear a lot now. You hear that all the time. Got your 6. 6 as in 6 o'clock. Your backside means you're having someone's back. Arguably one of my favorite ones. Break it down.
But Barney style.
Yeah, buddy. Break it down Barney style. I say that all the time. That is a part of my everyday language because I don't understand most things. And so whenever anybody is saying something I don't understand, I'm like, yo, can you break that down Barney style for me? And again, we're getting older. Right? Like a lot of people, like a lot of kids, I don't know if they know who Barney is.
I don't even know if there's a thing anymore. Is
Barney?
It?
Probably not. But break it down Barney style, one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah.
There's also some military slang acronyms. So let's get into some of the acronyms. The most popular acronym that you're probably going to hear or have heard is POG. P-O-G.
Guilty.
Stands for person other than grunt. The term comes from the word pogue, spelled P-O-G-U-E, which is Gaelic for kiss. The word originated from disgruntled Navy sailors during the American Civil War. They were upset that others that never left shore would get to stay at home and get all the kisses from the ladies while the sailors were out fighting. That's what I read. So pogue. So yeah, you would hear pogue all the time overseas. And pogue is just anybody that's not a grunt. It's not an infantry grunt, pretty much. Everybody else is a pogue because infantry grunts are just like booga booga boom 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 boom. And we just like talking shit to everybody else while we're at the front lines hating our lives.
I think just talking shit is what makes the military go around, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you're either talking shit about like the branches or you're talking shit about like what job you have, or job people. Like, dude, that's all you do in the military is talk shit.
But because you do that, I think it relieves a lot of the actual animosity. I don't know. Like sometimes if you talk shit to the wrong person, or depending on how you do it, it could set somebody off. But like, usually a lot of the guys that talk a lot of shit are like guys that would have your back.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just talking shit is like their love language.
Yeah.
They don't know how else to communicate.
I think that is one of my love languages. Like I love when people talk shit about me. Like when they talk shit about me, I'm like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, dude. You get excited.
Let me see you get real mad.
Yeah.
Call me blind again.
Oh, damn, Lieutenant Dan, you need to calm that shit down.
Sorry. Getting worked up.
But that's what happens, I guess, when you're in the military. I mean, were you like that before the military?
No.
Yeah, I know, because in the military, it's just so constant that you just get used to being shit talked.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
So Pogue is a pretty popular one. And then the other two common ones, FUBAR is a pretty good one. That is, do you know what it stands for? FUBAR?
Fucked up beyond repair?
Yeah. That or fucked up beyond all recognition.
Oh, okay.
So that just means, gosh darn it, things aren't going so well. That's what FUBAR means. And then Bohica. Do you know what Bohica means?
I've never heard of Bohica.
Bohica means bend over, here it comes again. Which means that we're about to encounter more bad luck.
Okay, so we in the Marine Corps, it was just called the green weenie.
I heard that after I got out. I didn't hear that when I was in.
Yeah.
So the green weenie is what?
Basically, you're just getting fucked by the band. You just get the green weenie.
Yeah, just bad luck.
Yeah.
So green weenie, bohica. There you go. Some other military slang terms. 0 dark 30 means super early in the morning.
Yep.
Full battle or full battle rattle means wearing all of your military gear to go typically on some sort of high threat, high protection type mission. Fobbit. I like fobbit. Fobbit. Fobbit is a person who never leaves the fob. So a fob, like I mentioned earlier, is a forward operating base. And fobbit, like hobbit, somebody that never leaves the fob. So, and that's because the reason why that is, if you don't know, is because their job doesn't require them to leave the fob.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So if you are working any of those other jobs that doesn't require you to leave the fob, grunts are going to call you a fobbit. So fobbit. Another one, donkey dick. So donkey dick. Have you ever heard that? You never heard that? I heard it a lot.
It's it has something to do with fueling vehicles, right? Yeah.
Yes. So the donkey dick is an extender that attaches to a gas can so you can fuel up your Humvees or whatever else you got to fuel up. And I don't know what it's actually called because I've only heard it called a donkey dick. And like, again, only in the military, right? We talk about how it tests your common sense. You're standing around with a group of adults and then you hear a leader, like one of your leadership come out and be like, hey, Peterson, grab that donkey dick. Roger that, Sarge.
Yeah.
Nobody bats an eye.
Nope.
Nobody even smiles. Like it's a funny joke. You know what I mean? Like when I hear the word duty, I smile. Like when you would hear donkey dick, you're like, yep, I got it. Here you go. What do you need? Like, Where's the truck at? Like, yeah. So donkey dick, that's another slang term. Another good one. Behoove. You don't like that? I like behoove.
Oh my God.
I use behoove every once in a while, and the second it comes out of your mouth, it's like PTSD. Like all of a sudden, it like snaps you back to be in the military. It would behoove you.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Like behoove was was funny to me. Like I like behoove,
and I don't even know.
It doesn't sound real.
Like in the Marines, if they messed up, they'd be like, "As you were." I don't even know if that's like a right or like "as I was" or whatever. I'll never forget, like at boot camp, they were showing us how to like shine our shoes.
Yeah.
And he got the shine on his tie.
Yeah.
One of my drill sergeants was like, "Oh fuck, as I was." I was like, "What? Like, what does that even mean?"
You just short circuited.
Yeah.
As I was.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
I don't. So.
You're gonna have that too, I guess. I mean, but yeah, behoove was a pretty good one. I mean, and it's like you say, Roger that. Roger that means
Roger
affirmative. I understand. Roger that.
Or like copy or.
Why does it have to be Roger that? Why can't it be Roger this? Roger these? Roger those? Just Roger that. That's the only way you can say that. And that's how it is. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Another good one. Bobbin for cock.
Bobbin for cock.
Can you show me what that is?
Sure. You're falling asleep in class.
Yep. Bobbin for cock. That was another great one. That was another good one. High speed. Now, high speed is a good one because it can mean a good thing or a bad thing. On the positive side, you could be talking about a high-performing, squared-away individual, or on the negative side, it could be referring to someone who tries way too hard to impress.
Well, that's high speed, low impact.
Or high speed, low drag.
Oh, there you go.
Like,
yeah.
Hey, they're high speed. Easy, they're high speed.
Yeah.
Like shit like that.
Yeah.
High speed was a funny one to me too, because it sounds like a cartoon character or something. You know what I mean? And another one that I like, when you get your pee-pee smacked. You know what that means?
No.
You were in Japan, you should know. I'm kidding. That means that's an informal reprimand. You've never heard that before?
No.
Like, man, he just got his pee-pee smacked. You never heard that when somebody gets in trouble?
No.
I heard that one quite a bit too. Like, I just got my fucking pee-pee smacked in there. And again, this is coming from a grown-ass man who's saying this to you. And you're just like, man, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, you got in trouble, huh? It's just, I don't know why we talk this way. I don't know why, okay? We're doing our best. But I'm trying to explain.
I don't think
so. People out there can try to understand why we are the way that we are. That's why we're going through this, Brad.
That's fair.
Some scientific military slang terms, okay? We have mock Jesus. I love mock Jesus. Like that, some bitch was doing mock Jesus. Mock Jesus is a scientific measurement of traveling at an incredible rate of speed. Metric fuck ton.
That's a large.
That's a
large amount.
It's a scientific way to measure a massive amount of something. I need a metric fuck ton of MREs.
Yep.
Time now. Time now means right now. Percussive maintenance. Percussive maintenance, I love. Percussive maintenance is the act of forcefully applying pressure to a piece of equipment in an attempt to repair it. One of my favorite scenes in Armageddon, which I think is just a great movie.
A fantastic movie.
I love that movie. Is when the Russian dude, there's like an American astronaut that's trying to fix this like computer or whatever because everything's going wrong.
Yes.
And she can't get it working. And then the Russian dude jumps down there and he grabs a wrench and starts beating the shit out of it. And then it kicks back on again. That's percussive maintenance. So percussive maintenance, that's a great one. And as my very good friend Zach has proved to me time and time again, who was a mechanic among other things, sometimes percussive maintenance really does fix stuff.
Yeah.
By just hitting it. You know what I mean? So that's percussive maintenance. And then the last one is unfuck. Unfuck. Unfuck is to fix, correct, or improve something that is currently disorganized or failing. You may say you need to unfuck yourself. You need to unfuck the situation, unfuck your gear. Very versatile.
Oh yeah.
Very versatile. You need to unfuck yourself. You know what I mean? That's just saying you need to improve.
That was like the daily regular told to me. Like, dude,
unfuck yourself.
Unfuck yourself.
I just love that. Unfuck is a great word too.
It is.
I looked up slang
Excuse me.
on both military.com and vet TV.
Yeah.
So military.com, it's kind of like slang terms like Gomer Pile and Crumb Catcher. And Vet TV had 15 slang terms that start with cock, 30 that start with the word dick, and 50 that start with the word fuck.
I mean, that checks out.
50 slang words that start with fuck. You know what I mean? Like that's impressive.
And here they are. No.
There's
Fuck
so
tard,
many.
fuck bait.
But yeah, there's so many. There's just so many. Fuck games.
Oh,
we're
fuck
gonna get to those in a little bit.
Oh, yay.
So before we do, I guess I should say in lieu of that, we'll get right into our next segment, which is stories. So some of the funny stories that we dealt with in the military, like I'd mentioned before, in the military, your common sense is tested, destroyed, and rebuilt on the regular, and many who have not walked a mile in those boots may not understand. So we wanted to share some of the funny, ridiculous parts of the military to help civilians understand why we are the way we are. And to do that, we have to start at the beginning. And the beginning of the military experience is at the Military Entrance Processing Station, otherwise known as MEPS. And what happens at MEPS, Brad? It's okay. You can say it.
There is probably a 97-year-old man who has seen the butthole of every service member that has been in the military probably since Vietnam.
You ask any veteran what they remember at MEPS. Go ahead. You're listening to this.
Yep.
Pop. Whoever.
Yep.
Ask them. What do you remember from MEPS? I remember that the oldest man in the world stared at my butthole.
It didn't
That's
make
what I
any sense.
remember.
Didn't look at it. He didn't touch it. He just bent over, spread your cheek. He goes, you could feel him.
Yeah.
He leans over.
Yep.
Leans back and he goes, okay.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
like what happens if it's not okay?
Right.
You know what I mean?
He probably comes back and just goes,
no cough, no like say Yankee Doodle. He doesn't do anything. He
Nothing.
just like he looks, and you're standing elbow to elbow
yes.
with all of your new brothers.
Yep.
Also naked,
Cheek spread.
just ready for this old guy to look at your butthole.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's what they do at MEPS. And if you're listening to this and you're like, this is inappropriate, I agree. It's inappropriate. We lived it, dude. So
Oh,
what do you
man.
want from us? If
Oh.
my story is inappropriate, I apologize. I don't apologize.
No.
Like, that's what happens at MEPS.
That is. And
It's the weirdest way.
It's not even explained. That's what blows my mind. There is zero explanation for why this is happening.
I think maybe that's why he does it. The reason why is it gets you ready for the military. Because after that, you're like, all right, whatever else they do, I guess I'm just going to go with, because I had an old guy stare at my beehole like from 6 inches away. And so at this point, whatever you tell me, I'm just going to do it. Like, it's fine. I'm not going to question it.
To be the one to draw that stick, to be that guy, like for that his job, you know?
He's got to like it, man. He's got to love it. That's his job every day. You think that makes me even more depressed. He's like, man, I got to stare like 170 buttholes today. Like, can you imagine if that was your job? You better love your job.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? That's a tough job.
That would be. He better get paid millions.
It's going to be weird if we do find out one day that there was no reason.
No need for it. Just no need.
They only did it in Chicago. His name was Bob. He was nice. They're like, you know what? Let Bob do what he wants. It's not hurting anything.
It's fine.
That's our experience. Welcome to our experience. And then after MEPS, you get to go to boot camp. And boot camp is the home of the fuck games.
Yes, it is.
And fuck games are not like fun games.
No.
It's just ways to mess with your head, hopefully get you to make mistakes, put stress on you. You know, they would keep you up late at night into early in the morning, and then they'd wake you up, you know, after sleeping for like an hour with alarms and a megaphone, trash cans, beating on trash cans, whatever it is. They would give you unwinnable situations strictly to break your spirit. And they do it to prepare you for insanely stressful situations that you could potentially encounter in a wartime environment. So I'll be very clear. I don't want it to seem like I have some better idea as far as how boot camp should be.
Oh, no.
I get it. Yeah, it is what it is. You do what you got to do. You have to put stress on people, see how they react under stress, make sure they understand that they can still operate under stress and get that muscle memory going. So when they are under stress in some sort of battle environment, some war environment, they don't fail, that they can still operate. What were some of the funniest things you saw in boot camp?
The funniest things that I saw. So there's two. One actually happened to me. We were standing, I'm not sure what you guys call in the Army, but like we called it fire watch or guard duty, or basically. So basically what that is for those listening, you just stand and watch the barracks. Yeah, and make sure nothing is going on. Well, when a drill instructor comes on deck, you're supposed to report your post, right? So you salute, good evening, sir, recruit Stozic reports, blah, blah, blah. And he stops me in the middle of my reporting. He goes, oh, you're a pudgy fucker, aren't you? And I go, no, sir. And he goes, yes, sir. And he pokes my stomach and he goes, fucking do it, bitch. And I go, aye, sir. So he pokes my stomach again and I go, woohoo.
Yeah, dude. Yep. And I'm assuming you could not laugh at all.
No, but everybody, all the recruits behind me could
but
hear.
You couldn't laugh at all, and that's the whole point. And those drill sergeants, in my opinion, were the best. The ones that would try to make you laugh and do shit to make you laugh, knowing that if you laugh, they're just going to fucking destroy you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's a good one. What's the second one?
The other one, we were out on the range, and one of the guys had just said let one of the drill instructors know that the crows were eating the sack lunches, or the sack nasties is what they called them.
Oh yeah.
And so he goes, good, then go be a fucking scarecrow. So he had to go and flap his wings and yell at the crows to get away from them. And he did this for like 20 minutes. I was like, Jesus, dude.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think one of the funniest things that I ever saw or was a part of, there's two separate ones. I'm trying to remember. I believe that they were separate. One was like the shark attack's always hilarious to me. If you think about the shark attack in retrospect, or if you ever watch videos of the shark attack and you're in the military, I feel like everybody laughs.
Is that like your Black Friday, like where you first meet your drill instructors or whatever?
Yes.
Okay.
So when you first, I don't know how it was for you. When I got to Fort Benning, you first go to a place called 30th AG, and 30th AG is where like they do your in-processing paperwork, shave your head, all that stuff, let you know what's going to happen. And you get assigned a drill sergeant, but he's not like a drill sergeant. Like, you don't fuck with him. You know, he can fuck with you if he wants, but he's just there to get you through the in-processing.
Yeah.
And then you finish your in-processing, and then you go to I went to Sand Hill. And then when Sand Hill was like where my barracks was and all that other stuff. And when you get there, that's when the bus stops and you get the shark attack, which is where all the drill sergeants come on the bus, yell at you to get off, and all they're doing is walking around yelling and screaming at everybody, just trying to break people and trying to see like who breaks the easiest, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're making you lift your bag up over your head. You have like 4 or 5 drill sergeants standing in a circle around you, all yelling at you to do different things.
Yep.
It's an unwinnable situation. You know, they're just trying to break you, trying to create all of that stress. So like the shark attack was always hilarious in retrospect, not during when you're in it. But when you think about it or you see those videos now, you're like, that shit's hilarious. The other thing is the way that drill sergeants would mess with you, I thought was like an art. And I always wanted to be a drill sergeant just so I could fuck with service members, with other soldiers. And one of the best ways we got fucked with. So we had been out all day on some sort of whatever training, and we get back and we're tired as hell, right? And when we're tired as hell, when we get back to our barracks, we walk in, we walk up the stairs, and the way that the barracks looks, if you're unfamiliar, is just a gigantic, long room. And you have beds on the sides, and in between each bed, you have bunk beds on the sides, and between each bed is a wall locker. And then in the middle of that room, you have what we call the kill zone.
Yep.
It was this big, clean area that you did not walk on, did not touch, and that's where the drill sergeants walked.
Mm-hmm.
And they walked there when they were putting out instructions, talking to you guys, whatever. So that's what the barracks looks like. And at the very end of the barracks was the bathroom and the latrine or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And our bathrooms, we had, like a bunch of urinals, toilets, and then all of our showers. So that's all at the end. So we get up to the barracks. We're looking down this long room. Every one of our wall lockers had been tipped over. All of the items in our wall lockers were all out on the ground. All of our laundry bags were emptied out in the kill zone. All of our laundry was everywhere. And guess what? In the military, if you didn't know, you all wear the same shit. So when all of your laundry is spread out, mixed with everybody else's, you better put your name on your shit like the drill sergeant told you to. Otherwise, you're also fucked, right?
Yep.
All of the beds were missing. And they were missing because they had been taken apart and put in the shower, which was turned on. So we're sitting here, tired as hell from a long day out in the field. You look at your barracks, you see your wall locker tipped over, your laundry all poured out everywhere, and your bed taken apart in the shower with the showers on. In that moment, you have one of two options. Option A is you burst. You just explode with anger and rage and just start scream crying, which some guys were kind of doing. And then option B is what I did, which was I laughed.
Yeah.
I laughed because I'm like, dude. And I said to my dude that had the top bunk and I had the bottom bunk, his last name was Poplowski. I said to Pop, I was like, dude, gotta admit, this shit's pretty funny, man. Like, look at this. Like, this is insane. This is ridiculous, man. Like, just to see that was so funny. And again, to have that happen to you after a long day, just getting you ready when you're overseas and you have a long mission and then you come back and your fob gets hit, like, man, you got to be able to perform. You got to know that, hey, it can still get worse. And another one of my favorite sayings, it gets worse before it gets worse.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh, yeah.
So yeah, those were some of the fun things that I saw when I was at boot camp.
So who's the fucktard who left their wall locker unsecured?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I don't remember who.
That's probably what caused that.
No, that is what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did I not say that?
No.
Yes, that was why. It was because somebody left their wall locker unlocked.
Oh, yep.
Because that was the fastest way to get drill sergeants to do something like that. If you left your stuff, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
If you left your stuff unsecured or unlocked or whatever, they would destroy you over that. Rightfully so, because again, when you're overseas, you have to have positive control of your items at all times. You can't let them, you don't want anyone to take your radio, your weapons, any of that other stuff. That's why they do it. So yeah, you leave your wall locker unlocked. Oh my God, you get fucked with. And then mob and demob, I don't know what that was like for you. For me, before when I mobed, I went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and Fort Bragg has these at least they used to, had these super old barracks. Like old where there was like creaky spots on the floor and they were like, don't walk on that spot. Like super old. And the bathrooms in these barracks were amazing because they were meant for, what's the word? Not trauma bonding. Just bonding. These bathrooms were set up so you could bond with your team. And what I mean by that is that it would be an open room with 4 toilets on one side and 4 toilets on the other side. And there are no walls. There are no blocking. There's no blocking of any kind. It's just toilets. And so it's like midnight. You go to the bathroom, see one guy in there already. He's also going to the bathroom. What do? You sit. Depends how intimate you want to get.
Let's get intimate. Personally, because it was like kind of set up like that in the Marine Corps as well. I would sit across, and then my buddy one time was like, "Why are you sitting across from me?" So I can stare into your eyes and whisper sweet nothings to you.
That's a good move.
But if you're getting real frisky, you sit right next to them and maybe put your hand on their thigh or something.
See, here's the move. The move is if you sit next to them, in my opinion, because these toilets are so close together that your legs are touching. So if you're going to sit next to them, I think it's best if you don't say anything. I think it's best if you just sit down because there's 6 other toilets. You sit right next to them, make sure the legs are touching, and you just don't address it at all. Like he's not there. I think that's one move. The other move is sitting directly across, like you said.
Yeah.
Eye contact.
Yep.
Just like not breaking eye contact, talking about your day.
Back when I could do that.
Son of a bitch. You could do it with a stick and just like poke them.
Yeah.
Poke them with a stick.
Buddy, I feel you over there.
Either way, it's like shit like that, man. You know what I mean? Those bathrooms were in most. I'm glad to know that the Marines had it too. Because Fort Bragg, those bathrooms were amazing. And it was a great opportunity to bond with your team.
And the showers, did you ever have to like PT shower? You know, like how were the showers set up?
Oh, like
just like one room.
Yeah.
And there's like, so a PT shower, they used to make us after PT, depending on like the schedule,
which is physical training.
Yes.
By the way,
we would walk in a line and they would just turn all the showers on and you would just in a line and just go around. Be like, all right, that's your shower.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Similar to like when you were in boot camp and you had to go through the chow hall.
Yeah.
And you had to eat super fast. Kind of like that. Yeah, I get that.
Yep.
Now, when you were in Japan, what were some of the funniest things that you saw when you were in Japan, if any?
Oh, man.
There had to have been some shit that happened that was funny.
There's so many things. One of the things that really stick out, like I experienced my first ever bit of like racism.
Yeah.
In a funny sense though.
Yeah.
So I was one of the only people that could drive. And I was driving one of my sergeants home, an African-American gentleman.
Yep.
And he goes, "Hey, let me get a ride home. Stop at the shop and I'll get you something. I just got to grab something." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, that's fine. Like, whatever." So he runs inside and he comes back with a chocolate muscle milk and a chicken salad sandwich.
Nice.
And I go,
that's questionable.
I go, why did you buy me a chicken salad sandwich? She goes, "Because you're white and I bet you'll like it." I go, "No, I don't like."
How dare you?
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Try it." I go, "Dude, fucking fine."
You never had one?
Never.
Okay.
I go, "Fine, I'll try a chicken salad sandwich." Son of a bitch. To this day, I fucking love chicken salad sandwiches, dude.
Dude.
It's one of my favorite meals.
And you can get away with doing that shit in the military. Anywhere else, it would be offended. You would have to go talk to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
But like when I had a similar experience when I had to go get food for my guys that were in the towers. So again, at our FOB, the way it worked is like you would run your missions and then you would have tower guard. Like it was on a rotation, so you didn't have tower guard every night, but like every X amount of days, like you would have to go pull tower guard. And so you have to go sit in a tower with one other person and just pull security for like an 8-hour shift. And so my my roommate, my battle, every time it just hurts me.
Just say it.
No.
Embrace it.
My battle
Embrace
buddy.
the suck.
My battle buddy. He and I were going to get food for our other two teammates who were up in the towers. Two teammates were up in the towers. One was black, the other was Asian. Okay. So on this particular day, we actually had a pretty stocked chow hall. So we got as stereotypical as possible for both of these gentlemen. Also, mind you, as a team, we had been through things at this point. So we were deployed, we trained together, we deployed together, we'd been shot at together. Like, we love each other.
Yeah.
Like, we are brothers. And it's very important that I like make that point before I say this and tell this story, so it doesn't seem like anything was done like in some sort of malicious way, but this is what happens overseas. So again, I don't know, it is what it is. So I get him fried chicken, watermelon, grape drink, I forget what else, and I think cornbread. And then we got the Asian guy. They had like, I think it was like lo mein or something.
Yeah.
Like they had like, we got him like lo mein. We got him like some teriyaki something. It was like all super Asian stuff. We brought it up there. And my buddy, last name Williams, talked about him before. He's the godfather of my kids. I'm the godfather of his kids. He looks at me without skipping a beat. And he just said, how did you know exactly what I wanted? And I'm like, and then the other dude said the same thing. We're like, you know what I mean?
Lucky guess.
Anywhere else, super offensive.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. Couldn't have been more appreciative. And it was after a super long day. So they were just happy. When you bring, if your guys are on tower and you bring them food, that is a love letter.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
So they were just super, super thankful for that. But again, that's the type of funny stuff that's funny to us, but would make other people be like, oh my God, how dare you?
I know, right?
And then the firefights. So like I said, we got into some firefights. It wasn't crazy. And my individual experiences in the military may vary, right? And we've talked about that a lot on this show.
Sure.
But for me, I was never in prolonged firefights. I was never in any of that house to house stuff. None of that. Usually, every time we got attacked, I was either on a base or we were traveling and we would get shot at, maybe, small arms fire, IED, rockets, mortars, that type of stuff. And the movies would always make it seem like super, super, super dramatic. And people are usually pretty on point as far as like how they carry themselves and how they act. But the things that you actually see sometimes when there is an actual firefight going on is not like the movies, and it's not nearly as well choreographed. I wasn't there for this. A buddy of mine who was in our platoon was up at a COP Najil. COP stands for Command Outpost. So it's like a smaller FOB. And he was at the COP, and this dude was klutzy as hell. Like he would just fumble over himself, trip over his own feet all the time, right? So their COP was under attack one night, and an RPG was shot at the cop, and it was shot at him, and he was running and he tripped and fell. I was told this by an eyewitness who was right next to him and said that RPG went right over him. And if he would have been standing up, it would have took his ass out. So it's like, dude, his clumsiness saved his life. We got hit from across a switchback, or we got up a switchback and we got hit across a riverbed once. And the truck in front of me, I believe it was a 240. He had a 240 Bravo mounted on top of a Humvee. The links broke. And so like right into the middle of the firefight, half of his ammo just fell off the fucking Humvee. And I'm watching him just like trying to put everything back together to get back in the fucking firefight. This same firefight. So we get up a switchback, and switchback, if you're unfamiliar, is just like a road that goes up mountains that like switches back on itself, and it's pretty tight turns. And I was driving an MRAP. So an MRAP, mine resistant, I don't know what the rest of it stands for, armored personnel something. So an MRAP, again, is like if an SUV and a tank had a baby, right? Gigantic, like 38,000 pounds, something like that. Huge. So I'm in an MRAP, I'm driving the MRAP. I'm heading down the switchback. I'm the first vehicle in my convoy. And as soon as we get down the switchback and I get to the very bottom, a fuel truck, or like a local fuel truck, wanted to get into our convoy. And we saw this a lot. I don't know if it was for added protection or whatever, but like sometimes the local fuel trucks would try to get in our convoy. And so this fuel truck gets in with our convoy. I get to the very bottom. As soon as I get to the bottom, the rear vehicle calls up that they're getting hit from across the riverbed. And so my platoon sergeant that I mentioned earlier, he was my TC, or VC vehicle commander, sitting front right. He tells me to turn the vehicle around, get up to the top of the mountain again, because I just got down. I'm like, okay, so I flip the MRAP around, get up top. And as I drive up top, I'm looking across the riverbed, which is to my left. So I'm like looking out this way, trying to see where's it coming from, all that other stuff. And as I get to the top, I park the vehicle, and that's when I see my buddy in the Humvee in front of me in the Lynx brake, and the platoon sergeant tells me to keep driving. So I'm like, okay, and he wants me to get into a better position. So I get into a better position. This whole time, I'm staring, like I'm looking in front of me, and then I'm looking across the riverbed. So I finally get parked, and our gunner is engaging. Like he's got a 50 cal machine gun. He's doing his thing. And I'm just staring across the riverbed to my left. And I hear that same black gentleman that I just mentioned, Will, in the back of my vehicle. And he says to me, "Hey, P.H.A.T." I'm like, "Yeah?" And he goes, "You pulled up right next to that fuel truck, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "It's on fire, right?" And I was like, "What?" And I flip my head over, and sure enough, an RPG had skipped across the top of the fuel truck, ripping the top of it open. Thankfully, it was empty, but because it was empty, the fumes were coming out of it, and the fumes had caught on fire. And I, in my infinite wisdom, and my platoon sergeant didn't catch it either, because we're sitting here staring at the firefight.
Yeah.
The fuel truck is on fire, fire just erupting out of the thing, and we are parked right next to this thing. So I immediately just gas it up and get the hell out of there. And Will was that calm about it. And he was sitting right next to it, just like, it's on fire, right? Like that type of stuff happens when you're overseas. You know what I mean? I've told part of this story, but I haven't finished it. So my wife has been through a lot with me, and she heard me getting our base getting attacked once when she was on the phone with me once, right?
Yeah.
I've told the story before. So I was in an MWR, which stands for Morale, Welfare, and Recreation. It's like it's a building that has like a pool table and phones and computers and like whatever, TVs, video games. It's a place where you can kind of go to get away if you want to take a little bit of a break. So I was in the MWR, calling my wife. I was talking to my wife on the phone, the same deployment, and our base was shared with the Afghan National Army, the ANA. And so where I was in the MWR, there was like some HESCOs, and then there was another building for the ANA. And we started getting hit there was like an attack on the base. And so I'm on the phone with my wife, and a rocket hits the building next to me. She hears it, and she was like, "What the hell was that?" I'm like, I waited for a second. And then I heard the small arms fire, like machine gun fire. And I was like, "I love you. I have to go by." And hang up on her. After that, I am sitting now, and that's the story that I've told before.
Yeah.
Now I am sitting in a plywood room. Okay. It's plywood. There's like 8 of us in there. And we had one dude in our platoon. I'm not going to say his name, but this guy was a mouth breather, and his head never stopped shaking, like moving from side to side. So like, have you seen Chappelle's Show?
Yeah.
And you've seen Charlie Murphy's bit where I forget who he is in this bit, but like he plays this like it's like a pimp or something.
Yeah.
And he like keeps moving his head like this. That was this dude. He just kept moving his head like this. And he was not very bright. Okay. He was not very bright. So he's in that MWR with me. And there's a few other guys, and again, we're hearing machine gun fire outside. There's no windows. We don't know what's going on. We just hear it. Some like lieutenant colonel or some officer stood up and said, "We all need to stay here." And that mouth breather guy gets up and says, I don't know about y'all, but I think we need to get the fuck out of here. And that was the smartest thing he'd ever said. And so him, me, 2 other guys, we get on the door like we're gonna fucking break into a house or something.
Yeah.
But we get out, we stack on the door, open the door because it's nighttime out, and then we take off running from there. And like, again, in any other moment, like it's such a serious moment. We're talking about a base getting attacked.
Yeah.
And him saying that was just so funny to me still in that moment. Like that he was the one who's like, I don't know about y'all, but we need to get the fuck out of here. Like that stuff happens when you're overseas too. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that I got to have some experiences like that. And also, if you're in a FOP or a COP, depending on what your situation was, you might have to go to the bathroom into an oil barrel that you will then have to stir at night if you are the unlucky one that gets picked. So you're literally stirring shit in an oil barrel. And I still want to know why that's not in any of the recruitment commercials. You know who doesn't have to do that?
Air Force.
Fucking Air Force.
God
Air Force
damn
does
it.
not have to stir
Yeah,
shit
because
in an
they've
oil
got
barrel.
plumbing everywhere they go.
They probably have bidets.
They
probably got the super nice.
Sons of bitches.
They get to do that and poop in luxury. Meanwhile, we're going into an oil barrel that we're gonna have to stir later.
Yeah,
it was a lot, man.
I shit in a hole with my buddy holding my hand. That was kind of cool.
That is love. When you're holding your brother's hands.
Yeah.
So he
doesn't
can go
fall.
to the bathroom.
Yeah,
so he doesn't fall. And also, if you've never dug a hole to poop in, you should try it because you might be surprised. You might miss it. You might miss the hole, depending on how big of a hole it is. That was something that I realized. I was just like, maybe I don't understand biology. You know what I mean? So, all things that should be in a recruitment commercial.
Yeah.
All things that need to be in a recruitment commercial.
Yes.
What were some of the things you did to pass the time when you were in?
Drank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot, dude. That's drank.
Part of the problem. That is a problem. It's like college.
Yeah.
I assume I did not go to college like that, but yeah, that's a big pastime
dude,
when you don't have anything else to do.
I drank a lot.
Yeah, we would drink and play games, a lot of card games, dice games and stuff like that. Like we would try to do things like that to pass the time.
Yeah, drink, work, and play Call of Duty.
Play Call of Duty.
Yep.
We were overseas. We captured a camel spider and a scorpion.
Oh, there you go.
We put them in a box to make them fight. Not nearly as exciting as you would think, because like they don't want to fight with each other.
Yeah,
like we would do stuff like that. Whenever we would go through the villages, we would teach the kids things. And so there were a few villages that we would go through and we taught them how to do the Wu-Tang, like the W with the hands.
Yeah.
And like going side to side. And so we taught this one village full of kids that, and every time we would come through their village, they would all run to the rooftops to like wave at us and stuff and see if we would throw them candy or pens or whatever. And we taught them how to do the Wu-Tang. We heard I think it was the other two squads in our platoon went out there not knowing any of this. And one of them was like, yeah, we went through that village and all the kids were doing the Wu-Tang. And I was like, no shit. We taught them that. Like we would always do stuff like that. You know what I mean? That was the best.
Yeah.
So I love doing things like that. And we got some decent stories too from, again, some of our fat family members. And this one comes from Jared. Jared said that to pass the time, they would take young privates and have them search around asking maintenance platoon sergeants if they had any spare fallopian tubes.
Oh my God.
Now, I didn't even think about that. But have you ever fallen for any of the new service member pranks? Like when you're brand new, what did they do to you in the Marines?
So there was like the pricky 5 form.
I love that. Can you explain?
So you just go and an E5 is a sergeant,
right?
And they would, the corporal or whatever, like, hey, go up to the sergeant and ask him for a pricky 5 form. And then you're calling him a prick pretty much.
Looking for a prick E5. They would do that Army for prick E6.
Yeah.
But the PRC 6 was actually like a radio component, I believe. But yeah, they would say, hey, go in the head shed and ask for a prick E6.
Yep.
And so you go in there asking, like, I'm looking for a prick E6. Like, oh, great. That's a great one to do.
They got me once. So on the Marine Corps, when I was on Fridays, you had to wear your dress uniforms.
Yeah.
And there was one time where our staff sergeant wasn't wearing his dress uniform. So our sergeant goes, "Hey," he goes, "Stozic, why don't you go ask staff sergeant why he's not wearing his Bravos or whatever?" I was like, "All right, good to go, sergeant." And I go, "Excuse me, staff sergeant, why aren't you wearing your Bravos today?" And he goes, "Are you fucking kidding me, Stozic?" And I was like, "Yes." Yes, I am.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Those new service member type pranks are pretty solid, stand the test of time. Chemlight batteries, grid squares. The reason why these are funny is because they don't exist. Well, they do. A grid square is something on a map. When you're looking at a map, it's broken up into a grid, and that grid is made up of grid squares. It's not something that you can really take or have or hold or whatever.
Yeah.
So, telling somebody to go and ask supply for a box of grid squares, that doesn't fucking exist. Chemlight batteries, if you don't know what a chemlight is, it's chemicals in a plastic stick that you crack to make it glow, and then you have light for like 12 hours. Chemlight batteries aren't a fucking thing. Nope. So to tell new privates, like, hey, go grab me some chemlight batteries. Or blinker fluid was another one. Blinker fluid was another one. Just stuff to make them feel stupid. Those were always good. Another Fat Fam story came from Sharp. Sharp titled this story Frosty the Suicide Bomber, which I like, because I love the holidays. Sharp said he and a friend were in Afghanistan and decided to go up onto one of the vehicle ramps that they had for the French Foreign Legion. The French Foreign Legion light vehicles in case the FOB was attacked, and they built a 4-foot tall snowman there. After the French Foreign Legion guys saw it, they wanted to add to this snowman, and they put an old wire harness around its chest and ran wires to its arms, making him look like a suicide bomber. And it stood and looked out over the FOB all winter. What I love about this story is you have different countries coming together for this.
Yeah.
Because again, at the end of the day, we're just fucking, just goobers. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just out there just fucking around, just trying to have a good time, making the most out of a bad situation.
And then
that cracks me up.
Exactly what embracing the suck is.
Embracing the suck. And I didn't think about it. I drew a giant snow penis when I was in Afghanistan. I was there as a contractor, and where I was at, I was in Kabul, and I was located between Kabul International Airport, which is where the pullout of Afghanistan happened. Those 13 Marines were killed, which was terrible. But that was at Kia. And so I was at a little base, a contractor base that we called the Coliseum, and that was next to Kia. And then on a little bit farther east was Camp Phoenix, which was like the military base. So helicopters were always going back and forth between Kia and Camp Phoenix. And so they were always going overhead. So we had a fresh snow, and I didn't think about it. We had this gigantic patch of asphalt in front of our connexes that we lived in. And so I shuffled my feet for like 50 feet out, made the head the tip, walked it back, jumped into the middle of it to create one Y vein, jumped back out to finish it with the balls. It was huge. Just so all the helicopters that went over could like look down and be like, Americans right there. Americans are there for sure. And it's like, again, if you hear that, you're like, oh, that's so stupid. We drew a dick on Mars. Remember that?
Yeah.
That robot?
Yep.
You know, that was a dude that did that. It had to have been.
Yeah.
Like that's how that happens. Like whenever we get somewhere like that, some place that maybe nobody else has ever been, or some foreign land, we just have to draw a dick somewhere. We just have to. I don't know why.
It makes sense.
It does.
It just
does.
makes sense.
You do what you got to do. There were a lot of things in the military that would test our common sense routinely. We've named some of them before. The only other one I can think about too is like when I was in Afghanistan, we would have to clean up if there was ever like a 2-star or any sort of general coming around.
Yeah.
That was always the worst because you had to make it seem like you lived in a way better environment than you did.
Right.
And which is another phrase, dog and pony show.
Yes.
So I'm in Afghanistan living in these barracks where if you open the door, like, I don't know, 80 pounds of sand just blows into the building immediately, right? And we had to clean up all of it because we had this 2-star general that was coming to visit our base.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I walked out of my barracks. This story also involves Will, dude from earlier. And Will's got his E-tool, entrenching tool, which is a collapsible shovel that's sharp on the edges. And he's digging into a fire pit with getting the ashes out of it with his shovel, throwing it over a chain link fence into the wind. And now here's a test. Here's like an ultimate, like, you're in the military if this is how you'd react sort of way.
Yeah.
I walk out there. I see him doing this. And I know he's so much smarter than that. And I'm like, Will, what are you doing? And he goes, First Sergeant told me to do this. And I was like, okay. And I just walked away. I was just like, all right, yep. He told you to pick up ashes and throw them over a chain link fence into the wind. I get it. It's totally fine.
Yep.
Because when they say shit like that to you, you just do it. You can't question it.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, as a parent, I struggle so much because I'm just like, why don't you listen to me?
Yes.
Why don't you listen to me? I had to blindly listen to guys telling me to do way dumber shit that I'm telling my kids to do.
You had to do what?
What are you talking about?
You had to do what type of listening, you son of a bitch? You said you blindly listened. Wow,
didn't
dude.
even think about that one.
Just kidding.
I just drop them all the time.
You do. You're
I don't even see it. Knew I did that one. Sorry. Not sorry.
I'm just kidding. No, yes, I agree with that. You would. I watched somebody mop up rain once.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, dude, why are you doing it? Because somebody higher up told him to do it. It just makes so much sense.
That's how it works over there, man.
Yeah.
And to pass the time, sometimes you have to play pranks. You have to do something to make the time go by. I also played a healthy amount of pranks. Did you pull any pranks or witness any pranks?
Not that
You were a good Marine.
I was. I tried.
Boo.
I know.
Nothing. Did you ever witness any?
Dude, not that I can think of any at the top of my head. I don't know.
When we were deployed, there was a lot. Because again, we're just bored, tired. Not necessarily. Well, you get back from mission, and then at night you got like nothing to do, and we didn't have internet. We sometimes we had like some internet, but not really. You'd have to go to the MWR to use it. So we didn't have anything to do. So we would fuck with each other. We would play pranks, and some of the pranks were all like cheeky and like not so bad. Like we had a friend, one of our guys was terrified of spiders. And we caught we found a dead camel spider and we put him in his laptop.
Oh, okay.
And he opened it and like fucking threw his laptop. He might have broken it. I don't remember. So that's cheeky. It's quirky. It's funny. You know what I mean? For everybody except him. But the other ones, so we had a new fob mayor come in. It was like some sergeant major, I think, from some other unit. I can't remember, but she wanted to make a bunch of changes to our fob. And so outside of our chow hall, we had garbage cans, and you would get your food and then you would throw everything away and you would leave. She wanted us to start recycling. Now, I'm not shitting on recycling, but what I will tell you is that when you would recycle on this fob, they would take those cans to the same place that they took the garbage.
Yeah.
And it would all, like, it was doing nothing. It was doing, like, you could watch it happen and it wasn't doing anything. So I thought it was stupid. So one night I had a meeting of the E4 Mafia and we spread out across the base and we took every single garbage can that there was. And while the Mafia was getting all these garbage cans, I was writing signs for each garbage can. And it was like peas, carrots, forks, knives. Like I was individually writing things on every single garbage can. we put all of them in front of the exit of the chow hall in like a V. So when you walk out, you see all these garbage cans. And then we went and we sat inside the chow hall and just watched. And what do you think happened, Brad?
I think that people started separating their shit.
They did it. We sat there and watched these guys, these soldiers. And here's the thing, Brad. Here's the thing. I would have done the same thing. But they're walking through and they're like, forks, knives. I think I did forks, knives, and sporks. And like, I just, everything I could think of. And you're seeing these guys getting frustrated. Like, oh, man, all right, I got to put peas in this one. And like, it was great. It was great. Like stuff like that. Cause nobody gets hurt. No, it's just hilarious.
That's funny.
So that was pretty good. Sometimes pranks go a little too far. Somebody could get hurt. Almost had that happen when we took a mountain ram. It's a mountain goat, but I don't know what kind of mountain goat it is, whatever kind of mountain goats they have in Afghanistan, but this thing had ram horns, like big. And I mentioned earlier, we shared a base with the A.N.A, Afghan National Army. They had this ram that they were going to eat, and it was alive, and they hadn't killed it yet. And we asked them, because we would talk to them all the time, like, hey, can we borrow that for a minute? And they're like, yep, whatever. So they let us borrow it. So it was, again, late at night, E4 Mafia. We took the ram and we brought it into our first sergeant's barracks. We tied it to the door of our first sergeant's bedroom. There's a picture. I do not have it. One of my guys from Charlie Company has this picture of the mountain ram in front of the first sergeant's door with the first sergeant's name right there. And the ram started shitting everywhere. And then it started ramming the fuck out of his door. And so we all immediately scatter, right? Thinking he's going to come out and it's going to be hilarious. He doesn't come out. We don't know what's going on. Turns out, first sergeant was in the gym. So he wasn't even in the room. So he gets back. He sees a mountain ram tied to his door, ramming the shit out of it with little shit pellets all over the place. And the best part about this story is that he woke up the Air Force guys to clean it up because that's who he shared his barracks with. So they had to clean it up. So it all ended up working out. And I really wish I could find that picture. But it's again, stuff is just the best, man. That's how you have to pass the time. You have to find light in the dark times, my friend. And that's how we did that. You know what I mean? And that's part of what made me miss it. It's part of what made me miss my time in the military was how much fun we had and how in these terrible situations you were able to still have such a good time. Some of the best nights that I have ever had drinking with my friends was in some shitty Connex in the like thousands of miles away. Yeah. And we didn't have anything. We didn't have TVs. We didn't have internet. We just had us and some cards, some dice, whatever. And we were able to make the most out of it. And that's a skill you have in the military. Like that is a genuine skill that needs to be applied when you're back here. You know what I mean?
I do.
So if you're listening to this, remember that laughter is a powerful coping tool, especially in uncertain times. If you are a veteran listening to this, stay connected, reach out, share funny moments, funny stories, share them with us. You can share them on our Facebook page, the I'm Fine podcast or Project Headspace and Timing. You can go to our website, projectheadspaceandtiming.org, and tell us what you think. Tell us about some of the funniest moments you had in service or other slang terms that we didn't talk about. Life is just way too short to stress over things that you can't control. So you have to find a way to laugh at them instead if you can. But other than that, Bradley, you got anything else, my friend? You can think of anything else?
No, just the stuff to share about the... Just the stuff to share about the...
Some events going up?
Yeah, the events.
Yeah, so before we close this episode out, we want to talk about a couple of things going on in the veteran community, just so you're aware. By the time this episode comes out, some things that you have to look forward to. One, for us, Project Headspace and Timing, our Heroes, Hogs, and Hot Rods fundraisers coming up. The Heroes, Hogs, and Hot Rods Festival, it is on June 1st. It's Sunday, June 1st. It's got a strongman competition that is ran by One Way Strength, an amazing organization that's so much fun to watch. We have an incredible car show ran by Explosive Customs. We have the Mental Health Veteran Resource Fair ran by the Veterans Assistance Commission of Kankakee County. We have an amateur barbecue competition ran by our friends Kyle Lund and Sean Dara. We have music, live music. We have, what else am I missing? Craft vendors, food vendors, open container. We have a limited edition patch that we're only releasing this year. Every time we do our festival, we release, we started this last year, but going forward, every year we're going to release a limited edition patch in limited amounts that are only available at the festival. And starting this year, we're going to pick a branch every year, and we're going to have our mascot Walter doing something related to that branch. And we started by age. So the oldest branch, which is the Army. So this first branch, this first patch is going to be the Army. I think after that's the Marines. I got to double check. So we had a lot of cool stuff going on. Please come check that out. It's a family-friendly event. We're also hoping that we're going to be able to do a live episode of the I'm Fine podcast for the first time. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So please make sure you check out our page, Project Headspace and Timing, either our Facebook page or our website to find out more information, or if you want to be a part of any of those different events. And the Air Force, as much shit as we give them, they come out to our festival.
They do.
With the coolest setup.
So cool.
They bring an F-16 flight simulator. They bring all of this other cool shit. And the Army and Marines
got to pull apart ammo cans.
Pull apart ammo cans that look like they just made it out of rebar that they stole out of the abandoned building next to the recruiting station.
Acquired.
Like, dude, yeah. So the Air Force, man, they're rolling deep. And we really appreciate them coming out there too. So it's so much fun. Please check that out. That's Heroes, Hogs, and Hot Rods Festival. What else is going on in the veteran community, Brad?
Yeah, so I have recently been connected with an organization called Strive for You.
Strive for You.
Yep, and what it is basically they try to take disabled veterans and other veterans in the community and get them to do adaptive sports.
Cool.
So coming up in May, they have a Lafayette Golf Fun Day. That's on May 14th. That is in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Okay.
That one is just the one day. But the big one that's coming up is the Adaptive Disc Golf and Sports Clinic.
Nice.
That one is in Whitehall, Ohio. And that goes from the 29th through the 30th. So on the 29th, you get to try out a lot of the sports. So there's archery, there's bags, there's virtual like VR goggles, there's yoga, pickleball, and then on Friday you get to compete in these competitions, and each
very cool
each category is broken down, so there'll be like the visually impaired group or like the amputee group or whatever. So all veterans are encouraged to sign up for these events. So if you are wanting to sign up for any of these events, it's Strive for You, STRIVE, the number 4, and then u.org.
U letter U?
No, YOU.
Okay.
Yeah.
.org.
.org.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
Other than that, again, Project Headspace and Timing has peer support groups 3 times a week, Monday nights at 7 p.m. at Guardian Concepts, Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. at Guardian Concepts, which is a non-denominational 12-step group, and then Fridays at noon at Uplifted Cares Grief Center. If you're in Clinton, Illinois, they also have a peer support group on Thursday nights at 7 p.m., and that's at Gilmore's Treats. So that's if you're in Clinton and Central Illinois. It's really cool that we're getting to spread out. And then Veiled Valor, our female veteran outreach group, started their own brand of peer support groups, which is also on Wednesday nights. This is at Guardian Concepts at 7 p.m. and they call that Stitch and Bitch. And they do crafting and all sorts of other stuff. Just hang out and have a good time. We also have Smoke Pit Saturdays now. So over at Guardian Concepts at 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturdays. It's a sober environment. If you're a veteran that just wants to get out, hang out with some other veterans, you want to be social, but not necessarily go to a bar or anything like that, you can come to Guardian Concepts and hang out. We have a pool table. We have TVs. We have cards, games, all sorts of other stuff, and we just started that up like a month ago. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice to go out there and just have a good time. And I really do have a good time because there's no schedule. Like I like going out there, and I've gone out there to probably about half of them so far, whenever I can, because it's nice to just get to relax, hang out. There's no outline, no schedule. It's just pretty fun.
Just chill. Yeah.
Yep. And then Troops on Trails for Project Headspace and Timing is going to be very busy this year. We have flight classes that are going on every other Thursday, thanks to our friends D14 Aviation, who are also the title sponsors, one of the title sponsors for Heroes, Hogs, and Hot Rods this year. And our hiking group, our Bad Mother Ruckers, they go out 3 Fridays a week or 3 Fridays a month, 1 Saturday and 1 Wednesday night. So they're out there every month. Our golf program is going to start back up again pretty soon. We're going to be at the Elks this month. So again, if you are a veteran or in the veteran community around Kankakee County, please come check out what we have going on. And then we also have our spousal support group that meets once a month too. So please go to projectheadspaceandtiming.org. Check out what we have going on. If you like this episode, like, share, follow, subscribe, all the things. And until next time, Brad, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
Always.
Another day of being the 172nd best mental health podcast in Cambodia, according to an email I got once. So we hope that we helped you go from being freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional to truly being fine about having a little mandatory fun.